Hey you guys, welcome everyone to the portal of portals. So today is the new moon, which is usually the time where I do the readings called the initiation activation. That's because they are new beginnings and initiations. But today, if you look at the title of this video, it's the initiation activation squared. By its own power, it is doubled and multiplied for an eternity. This is the beginning, but it's also the end within the beginning, because one is within the other, and the energy of this truth is ever present everywhere we look, inwardly and all around us. What do I mean by this? Today is March 6th, 2019. This is a 363 in numerology. Okay, this is the fourth day of a 4-day sequence and cycle, which was initiated on 333, March 3rd, 2019. Each of these days, the 333 and the 363, including the two in between, when put together, create a sequence in reflection of the divine sequence or divine ratio in proportion to the great divine wheel itself. So this little sequence is a little piece, okay? A little poem outside of time and space. It's like a time out of time. On the Mayan calendar, you may recall that there are these days called the day out of time. Think of this as a multiplication times 4 of a day out of time. Within those 4 days is a complete microcosmic cycle of the macrocosmic creative cycle. Okay? So, it is like a loophole in time and space. This is what this is creating. It's creating a loophole in time and space, as well as a loop, a full circle, outside of time and space, giving us an opportunity to kind of pause time, quantum leap, and return right back to where we are in this reality on this plane with our own power having been multiplied. Okay, so we return right back here with our own power multiplied, and we seal it into form. Okay, this energy is an archetypal energy known as the Immaculate Conception, the crucifixion, and the resurrection. But because this pattern was originally created in a place outside of time and space, yes, in the very beginning of you and I, when we became I and I. Okay, so it's because of this that all timelines merge there, here, everywhere, today, right now. So the Immaculate Conception becomes one with the crucifixion, which also becomes one with the resurrection. It's all three in one. And when the three become one, they create the four, the fourth, the form for spirit to activate. Okay, this is the light body. So the 333 portal, I feel, was not really looked at. It was almost like it was hidden, like this occult gateway that only if you have the eye to see will you be able to jump in fully. You know what I mean? No matter what, we are all subject to its effect because we are all part of the original cause, which was sealed at the time of our creation as one being. So this little loop that we're experiencing right now, this loophole in the firmament, is also reflected in the tree of life, in Tiferet. This loop is also a knot as the energies cross over at the finishing of that loop. So the circle of life is also a spiral, ever spiraling out, overlapping over itself again and again, creating these knots or loops in reflection of the original creative pattern, father pattern. And this loop is also a knot which we actually hear referred to when we're talking about marriage and the wedding. Oh, tying the knot. Well, this is the original knot which was tied of the divine romance the alchemical wedding, the alchemical marriage of the two within the one at the beginning of time. This is the original wedding knot I'm talking about. That original knot contains a sequence of numbers which is reflected again and again throughout time and space. And when those timelines overlap, they create portals or gateways for us to enter within our mind's eye, which creates then, by product of, whatever comes of that, whatever conception we have from envisioning that idea in our mind's eye, right? So we have the idea, it's conceived in our mind's eye, but within that seed is also the fruit, its manifestation. So as these timelines overlap, we have the ability to go in to those portals, go into ourselves and into the portal within our individual mind's eye, as well as the collective eye of the collective mind. Also a reflection of the firmament at the beginning of creation, where the sun, the moon, and the stars were all hung. So when these portals or overlapping of timelines appear, they will appear as number sequences, palindromes, patterns. Patterns are the key. Pattern, the original pattern being the original father, the original body or form for the light beyond, the original emanation to come in. This is why the mother could not be the one to seed all of life first. This is why we refer to it as the father, because the conception has to be considered as immaculate, a miracle. So that leaves space for the divine mystery to unfold. If we spoke about it as though the mother came first, well, then we would have no mystery to solve, you see. And so the father is first, but as the Immaculate Conception happens and the father, the original light, gives light to the first form, and then it becomes its son, we have to reverse the process, because in this dimension, natural law rules here, as it does universally. In this dimension, the law of polarity says that we have to consider the concept or pattern of Immaculate Conception in its reverse form. So we're also returning to the womb of the mother, you see. Just like in the beginning of time, it was the father of time. The father was the one who gave the light. Immaculate Conception is really a pattern. So we don't need to be upset that the father came first, because in this dimension, and in many, when the father comes first, we also know it's the mother simultaneously, because it's his opposite and equal force, which is hidden within him. Okay, so take Ash Wednesday, for example. What is Ash Wednesday? I just learned this myself because I was raised Jewish, and I never asked my friends growing up why they had that weird mark on their heads. I did this myself today. Ash Wednesday. The ashes on the head are a symbol of our confirmation of the original covenant between man and God. The promise of eternal life, the knot that I just spoke about. Why ashes? Because ash symbolizes the death, where the salt within symbolizes the life. Just like the iron in stone, or the blood in human, or the woman in man, and the two in the woman, the twins. If you look back to the original Bible or Torah, you'll see this explained in every story. Twins are always conceived. There are conceptions of twins again and again. We see this in the original book of creation that was written. So again, female in male, that's an interesting concept. That's where a lot of people just end up arguing and beginning a war that is entirely irrelevant and unnecessary, because it further complicates this this idea of what the pattern really is. But the woman is inside of the man because of the law of polarity. When one is born, so is the other within it. The secret to the key you seek lies hidden within its opposite. The woman is in man. Just like human, right? Human, the blood is in human. We see that, and then we see female and male. If we take the FE off, we get male. But if we replace it, FE, we get female. FE is the code for iron. Iron Man. She's the Iron Man. She's the man. She's the blood in the man. The iron in the blood in the man. The stone, the iron, the blood, the man. and then we begin again. Right? Cool. I appreciate your feedback. That's awesome. I'm glad you're here with me right now. So, as I'm telling you these stories, I'm really just reflecting and reviewing everything that's been coming into my own mind's eye. It's been a lot, you guys. I've just been nonstop writing for the past 4 days just so I can get this out and be able to share with myself and with all of you as parts of myself who are just as interested in accessing these portals as I am. So people would say over time, over many years, hundreds of years, people saying, now is the end of the world. Oh, no, now is the end of the world. Oh, on so-and-so date, that is really when it's going to be the end. But they're wrong and they're right, because you see, the beginning is implicit in the end and vice versa. They're one. One is within the other. So, what really were those dates they were talking about? They were right in a way as well, because each of those times were an end and a new beginning. They were completions of cycles within the great cycle, which never ends. So, 12, 21, 12, and, 11, 11, 11, and all these dates that we've been waiting for, they're only creating more. Each one a gateway to a quantum leap within the quantum field. You see, this is ever unifying us. It could never separate us. It's not like you could miss the jump, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's in it, whether we want to be or not. The very energy that makes us up within us, the grid that we move through, the field that we move through, itself is transforming. The light, the original emanation, is transforming through us, by us. And so we can't escape these leaps if we tried. But there's an acceleration that happens depending upon our ability to see more deeply within. The more we know, the more we grow. It is like our willingness to do the work and our desire to know is what brings the answer on faster. Why? Because it's showing God or self, reflection of self, that I really am in this. I'm aligning my will with yours. I'm meeting you halfway. And so, as you meet halfway, the universe meets you halfway, and it's a never-ending meeting, just like that original knot. And I think that a big part that's overlooked as far as divine feminine in her, galactic or spiritual principles, Father Time, Mother Space. What was the mother's form before this body then? Because she doesn't just come from man, right? I mean, she does, but from inside of him. So what is space but the womb? But the womb of the one Mother, Father, God. Okay, so she was the space that he filled with his time, Father Time. They are the Father Time and the Mother Space that are outside of time and space as their light comes from beyond. It comes from a dimension represented by the space in between the capstone and the rest of the pyramid, the crown and the rest of the tree. That space is a place where time cannot travel. Time cannot go, except for the one Father Time, who is beyond time itself. He is the wheel, the never-ending cycle of light. And so that space between the capstone and the pyramid, between the crown and the third eye, is the space that we're always traveling through again and again, only to come back to ourselves. And that space out of time, that light that's there in that space that exists outside of time, is also in our hearts. Our hearts are an empty space. The mother, it's the place where the mother, the original, the essence of the original mother, the light of the Father, within him, going back to the two as one. That's what your heart is. Why is it an empty space? Because it's a place that's protected from the illusion of time, where only the real Father Time can enter. It was God's way of creating a space that no one else would be able to touch but the truest one. And so God, that covenant, that he made with man was a covenant he made with the two within the one from the beginning of time. And he said, hey, I promise you eternal life, but you have to put it somewhere that it's going to be protected for eternity, for as long as you live, which I'm promising you eternal life. So where should we put it? Of course, within the heart. Let's make the space of the infinite space the place where we hide the key, so that it's an everlasting love between you and me. So that it's an eternal game of hide and seek. The most mysterious, divine romance that we experience if we just tune in each moment. So today is, again, 363. It's the completion of a 4-day sequence which was initiated on 333. It is you could see it revealed in the numbers. Everything is revealed in the numbers. It is our own power squared. We are multiplying our power and sealing it for an eternity in reflection of the divine creation pattern of our original story. All right, so I've been shuffling these this whole time that I was telling you this story here. And we're ready to go. Now, anything that you have in your mind or in your vessel right now, in any of your bodies, in any dimension, clear it. Create the most space that you can possibly create right now. Wow. The best way to do that, let's all tune in to that space in between the capstone and the rest of the pyramid. The crown and the third eye, the space between where they meet, the horizon, the horizons of the one horizon, of the one sun, the original light. Let's tune into that space, okay? So see the pyramid, see the capstone and the pyramid separate with a space right there, and know that that space is the space that holds the key that is within your heart. It's the heart of hearts of all hearts. Tune into that space where the mother is, was, and always will be beyond form, within, in the womb of the one. Let's tune into the space beyond time and ask for the mother through that infinite space within the heart to guide our way. Today is a new moon. It's time to look at her in a way we never have before. What is her light but a reflection of the sun's? And what is the light of the sun but a reflection of the Father, of the One? So with the birth of this new moon, may we consider that its opposite is also being born at this moment by law of polarity. And every energy is being multiplied right now, squared to infinity. So whatever that moon is birthing, that's an Immaculate Conception. Whatever the sun is birthing as well right now is also an Immaculate Conception. The sun and the moon come together to birth the moon shadow, or black hole sun. Oh my, what fun. So we're tuning into that space right now, that empty space. We are that. In our heart of hearts, we are that space. So we have an infinite amount of it. Welcoming light. We are receptive, open, and ready for the truth in the space that is beyond time, as it wishes to be revealed to us in this reading of the Initiation Squared. All right, throw it in. Okay. Woo! The world, justice, a page of swords, and the 10 of cups at the top. Wow. We have a 10, 11, 21, and a page, you guys. All right, so I'm going to explain now. Let's start with the past. Remember that all three timelines exist as one now. We're crystallizing. This energy that's coming in, this gateway energy, is crystallizing all timelines into one final form. Final. And then we begin again, as represented by the knot. See the knot within the loop? This is the crucifixion, the resurrection, and the conception all in one knot above, and its opposite and equal powers reflected below. The world, the 21, is the past. Okay? From our wholeness, we are stepping forward. We have reached a cycle of completion, a cycle of the seasons of the great wheel. This is a microcosmic completion in reflection of the macrocosmic wheel, you guys. In motion, embodied, activated. It's a wheel on fire. So that's pretty obvious, okay? We're stepping out of, but still remaining in this circle of life, because we can never step really truly out of. There's no direction. There's only a point. So this is the portal we're stepping out and in from and to. The 11. So we move from 21 to 11. Another major arcana card. Justice. Perfect. This is true balance and true order. The law is also the family. The Hebrew word for family is mishpacha. This means the law, because family is the ultimate ritual to reflect a microcosm of the macrocosm that is the tree of life. The family tree is one with that tree of life. We are all one family tree. And so the justice card then becomes very relevant when we consider family as one tribe working together in balance according to the law, the universal laws, the laws of nature. So this is where we're at right now. Balance, everything coming to justice, all things readjusting, the scales readjusting to come to a balance in reflection of our evolution right now. Rebalancing. Okay, if you consider the tree of life, like in Kabbalah, what's happening is the wheels are turning and they're readjusting, letting light in, letting more light into some and decreasing the light in others. It's all a play of light and shadow. So the scales are the sails that are going to set this relationship between you and I as one forward. Ever forward. The third card, as we move into the future, is a Page of Swords. Pages are messengers, and they're new beginnings. They're very open-minded. They're considering a new perspective, new way of looking at things. And they are of the earth suit. Swords are air. So here we have an earth of air. Air is also the mind. We have a messenger of truth. A messenger of communication. We're stepping into, as we step in and out of this cycle, in reflection of the great cycle, we're rebalancing the scales with a message of truth. Opening up our minds to a new way of being and doing, to call in this new earth as messengers of truth, cutting through, right? Again, the sword in the hand, the ultimate sword of truth, cutting through the old and piercing the new. Okay? So it's like the sword is the thing that rips the firmament so that we can look into it and through it and only find ourselves. And then above these three is the crown card, the ally, as we move through all three of these timelines as one. Therefore, the next card that I'm about to be revealing here, the fourth card, is the form of these three as one. And what is it? The 10 of Cups. Cups is the suit of emotions, the heart, relationship, love. 10 is the ending and the new beginning. It's the beginning implicit in the end. It's the never-ending love story and cycle. And a completion. It's a completion and a beginning. It's fulfillment of the heart. So we're remembering this. We're keeping this in mind as we move forward with these other three here. This is our form. We're here to end and begin cycles of the heart again and again and again with our sword of truth in hand as the young earthling, again and again reborn with new messages of truth to integrate so that we can continue to balance the scales of the all and embody that within us as microcosmic reflections. We are like planets, ourselves reflecting a completion of a sequence, creating a form for spirit to reside. So again, we're rebalancing the scales so that we can, again and again, complete the circle, the cycle. This is amazing. This is why I love the tarot, you guys, because no matter how much we channel or how much light we receive or how good our communication skills are, the channel that becomes a body outside of you, outside of time and space, when you connect God to these archetypes, is like it's incredible. There's no comparison. There's no one who could do it better than God himself. It's like we just step out of the way, right? And all the answers are revealed. And the tarot is a complete system and cycle within itself, built upon these sequences and patterns, which I explained throughout this video and over the past 4 days and over the past couple of years as I've been sharing with you all my journey. And gosh, I mean, since the beginning of time, you know, since before I was sharing with you guys, we've all been doing this across time and space forever. This is it. So the pattern that the tarot works upon is this divine pattern. It's in proportion to the divine pattern. That's why tarot is so magical, you guys. And so even if I had no idea what these symbols meant, they are still painting a truthful picture. And I'm so glad to have learned them and to have developed my own personal connection to be able to be the medium to share this with you guys. So thank you for sitting with me, for tuning in always to the heart that is the space in which we all meet as one together. Incredible, you guys. Just really, I mean, boom, 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 boom. I mean, how perfect. A 10, 11, 21, and a page. It's like if I didn't explain this portal at all over the last 4 days, and if I haven't been explaining, you know, any of these concepts to you, of which I've been downloading, the cards would have said it all right here. And so much more simply than I ever could, in just 4 beautiful images. Just 4 simple, beautiful, archetypal images. Archetypal language is the universal language. Because we are just an archetypal story ever unfolding. So the more we can remember the parts that we play and how those parts have a part within one another, the more we can set our sword down when necessary. The more we can begin to take things less personally. The more we can understand each other's pains and the illusory separation and how this never really was meant to be a war, but rather a homecoming. So if you feel war or conflict in your life, remember this truth, that the opposite lies hidden within the one you seek. If that's true, which it is, by law of polarity, then peace is hidden right inside of war. Then love is hidden inside of hate. So instead of feeling ashamed or upset with the pain and the anger in the world, inner conflict and outer conflict, there's no place for blame. There's no place for that. It's the most inefficient thing to have this blame. It's just a part of fear, and all we want to do is rise in love. So instead of saying, oh, look at all this shit we made, and we're just sitting in it, we can say, wow, well, I guess it's a good thing we created this mess, because now we have opportunities everywhere to look into that mess and through it to see the truth, the order in the chaos. Well, we sure have created a lot of war. We may as well be positive and alchemize the situation and say, well, I'm gonna get my boots back on. I'm gonna get my coat back on. I'm gonna head out there straight into the war, of which I'm so familiar already. But this time with a new awareness. This time with no fear, because I already know war very well, right? We've been doing this war thing, for a long time. The only difference now as we step back into it is we're carrying more light with us and more awareness. So we're walking in ready and open, with no fear, with only a space for love to enter. Nothing else can enter. Anything that is outside of Father Time, only Father Time can enter that space of love. No other time can enter. So we essentially walk into this war immortal, risen up by this resurrection, being offered within each moment as we multiply our light within our minds, within our bodies, within our souls, and our soul is one. Now we walk back into that war that we're so familiar with, but with a new perspective and a full openness and trust in the protection of the space of that womb of the Great Mother. So now, when we walk to the war, we walk through the war to the center, to the heart, as it resonates with ours, pulling us in like a magnetic force, the magnetic force. We enter the hate and go through it to the love hidden within. Thank you so much for being here with me forever. Many blessings in your transformation again and again.